Starting here, and look at the time, it's 1 o'clock on the nose. So hi everybody, I'm Coach Jackie Leavenworth, and I want to give a huge shout out to the Akron Cleveland Association of Realtors for everything that they are doing to keep us as members, and yep, that includes me. I am a realtor and a member too, and to keep us in the know and keep us moving forward through everything we're going through. So a huge shout out to everybody, and Therese, Mike, and Kelly, and everybody who's been working behind the scenes. We all owe them a big thank you. So this webinar, Therese and I worked together and thought, okay, what do we want to do here? And rather than talking about COVID and everything else, we really wanted to talk about what is it going to look like post pandemic preparation. So in fact, yesterday I was lamenting the fact that I hadn't named this post-pandemic preparation because it just got such a nice ring. So I'll be doing something with that title. So we said, you know, it's going to come back. Not that it ever left in our area, we're really blessed, but it's going to come back to a more normal, not I don't think exactly what we were looking at, but it's going to come back to a more normal. And how can we be best prepared for Q2 listing inventory, which will lead to Q3 income? Because look, we are a business that is 90 days out. What we do today, we get paid for 60 to 90 days from now. So because of that, we are in Q2 already, and we really need to prepare to go for Q3. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Just a few logistics. You are all muted because this is a webinar, not a meeting, and I know we're all getting used to these different types of, what do I want to say, online opportunities. And so you are all muted, but you do have a Q&A. There's a strip somewhere, depending on the device you're watching on, there's a strip somewhere that has Q&A. Please feel free to put your questions in there, your thoughts in there. That would be great. And I will try to address everything I can. And if I don't get it addressed during the webinar, I will take a look at what the questions and answers were, and I'll make sure that the association gets them and they can get them out to you. And this will be recorded, by the way. So if you want to watch it again or send your friends, those who didn't see it can watch it, whatever. So it's coming back. Let's get prepared. I really want to start with saying this. After the 7 weeks or so that we've been dealing with everything, it has dawned on me many times of what an awesome industry we are in. In fact, I'll be doing an online session with California next week called Real Estate is a Flipping Awesome Business. It's a flipping awesome business. A couple things I thought about. I was listening to stuff after the NFL draft and how they're going to try to get the NBA teams back to practicing and all that. And I thought, you know what? We are so blessed. Number one, in Ohio, anyway, not everywhere, so we're doubly blessed here in Ohio, we're an essential business. So we could keep business going, not the way we're used to, but certainly we could keep it going. And my gosh, it hasn't stopped. It literally has not stopped. I mean, we still have multiple offers on houses. We're selling houses virtually. It has not stopped. The interest rates are so low, people still need housing. So there's point number 2 about a flippin' awesome business, is that people always want houses. I don't care what the economy does, there is always a market for real estate. Now it can do this, but there's always a market for real estate. And I am definitely reminded of going back to Washington, D.C. May meetings. And I want to say it was about 2013. I can't nail down that year for sure, but around there, when Mo Vesey was our national president at the National Association of Realtors. And we had an amazing rally that went on at the Washington Monument. And in that rally, we Oh, I wanted to make sure that we were recording. Sorry. In that rally, we had like 15,000 realtors all dressed in blue shirts with a white R on it. And I mean, the synergy in that place was amazing. We were marching on Washington basically to let them know the power of the real estate industry and how strongly we believe in home ownership and mortgage deduction and that kind of thing. So anyway, one of the speakers there, I will never forget it as long as I live, hopefully. I will have a memory just right until the day I die on this one. I don't remember the man's name, but I do remember that he was the president of the National Association, president of the Hispanic National Association of Realtors. All right. So that was amazing in its own right that we had him there speaking. And when he spoke, literally, I'm telling you, out of all the speakers, you could have heard a pin drop out of 15,000 people standing on the lawn when he made this comment. He said, mark my words, no one, and let me repeat, no one ever grows up wanting to be a tenant. Let me repeat that again. No one, and I mean no one, grows up wanting to be a tenant. And I thought, wow, we are just in the most powerful business, and we're sort of the hub of all other businesses. If housing stops, carpet installers and pest controls and roofers and insulators and appliance sales, retail, it all suffers if we go down. So we are in just an amazing business. And I just got a chat from Eric Wachtel. Hi, Eric. It's great to hear from you that March was like a busiest month. So yeah, it didn't go away. And when it comes back, we have choices of what to believe is going to happen because nobody knows for sure. Absolutely nobody knows for sure. And I have been asked 1,000,000 times plus, what do I predict? What do I think is going to happen? And look, I don't have a crystal ball. And I am not a statistician. Is that the way you say that? Whatever. And I am not this big data collector person. I am not the one that follows all of the numbers. Now, I am one that listens to Lawrence Yun and listens to the mortgage lenders and listens to what's going on and hear all of the predictions that are out there. But my credentials really are this. I've been a realtor for over 35 years. I've been in this business. I love this business, and I have stayed on top of this business. And I am a life coach as well as a real estate business coach. And in the life coaching side of things and my journey to life coaching and my journey to my life has taught me something that is extremely important. And that is that the one thing that I can control, the one thing I can control is what I think and what I believe. My beliefs are nothing more than a collection of my thought habits of what I think over and over. And no one can take that away from me. I'm in Florida right now. I'm wintering in Florida. Sorry, Ohio, but that's what I worked for and I do now. So I am in Florida right now, and yeah, they've taken the beaches away. They're slowly getting those open, but not with parking lots for people who have to drive like us. They can take the beaches away. They can take the restaurants away. They can take my tennis courts away. They can take all that stuff away. But you can't take away my individual right to think what I want and believe what I want. And because of that, I choose to think and I choose to believe in an optimistic future. And I want to share that optimistic future with you today because I believe that if I'm right, we'd better be prepared. And I also believe things are going to change. So even if you were the best listing agent in the world before all of this, I think there's going to be some changes. I think there are going to be different expectations and different requirements placed on us, on sellers, and on buyers. So I think that we need to up our game. So I choose to believe in optimism. I am the one that you could put me in a pile of manure and I would be looking for the pony. So I choose to believe that way, and I want to share that optimistic thought with you. My optimistic thoughts of the business. And I have heard I've heard my thoughts echoed by the likes of Lawrence Yun and visitors on Brian Buffini and things like that. So I don't feel like I'm out there here. I think a couple things. I think that there's going to be a segment of the population who had no idea before quarantine that they wanted to upsize or downsize or right size. They had no idea that their house was not fulfilling their needs because they were so busy outside of their house that it's a place to come and put your briefcase down and have dinner, visit with the family, go to bed, get up, and do it again. But now that we are living in close proximity to our family members that live with us, and we are in that house, we are going to have a segment of the population who wants a bigger house. They need space. I mean, we're going to have a segment of people who are going to say, if this ever happens again and I'm locked in with these 5 people, we're not living here. I need my space. I need a room where I can work, or I need a room where I can go and make my music, or I need space, or we need a yard for the kids, or we need whatever it is. They're going to have a desire for change. Some of those people are in houses that are maybe multi-level homes or 2 levels, and now that they're working from home and they're home every day, they're realizing those steps are too much, and they want to downsize or right size into something. Maybe they won't change price ranges, but they right size into the same price range, but something without the stairs for their ambulatory health purposes, etc. We're going to have an element. We're also going to have the element of people who it's not their house that bothers them, it's their neighbor's kid who's playing basketball 12 hours a day right now. And boom, 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 boom. And they're listening to this and they don't want to be neighbors anymore. That's going to present opportunities. We're also going to have, I predict a bit of a baby boom. For the couples who are living together side by side for 7 weeks and they actually get along and really enjoy being together, we could have a baby boom coming in about 9 months. So now we've got people potentially outgrowing their house. Unfortunately, we'll also have the element of population who had to live with each other for 7 weeks and decided they don't want to do that for another 7 months or 7 years, and could end up not keeping that house for that reason, which is a very sad reason for that to go or to happen. I think we're going to have expired listings more than we've had, because obviously we've been suffering a shortage of inventory, and we've had more demand than supply for years now. And I think that even though we had low supply, there are definitely houses that are potentially going to expire. Could be because it didn't sell with what's going on, although not many of them are sitting unless the seller is unrealistic in their price. Or it could be that deals fell through because it's just more difficult to get the closings and things accomplished right now. Or the buyer got furloughed or lost a job and couldn't perform. And so I think we're going to have an expired market as well. And unfortunately, I think there might be a little bit of a bounce back of some distressed properties where sellers just can't afford economically to stay where they are. Having said all that, here's my crystal ball. I think we are going to have listing opportunities. Now, do I believe that we're going to have this overabundance of listings and the supply and demand will even out or turn into a higher supply than demand? Not really. I don't believe that. I still think we'll probably stay more with the seller's market, But I do believe that we will pick up some inventory and supply. Knowing that means we'd better be prepared. So what I want to do today is help prepare you for these windows of opportunity that are there, because for right now, even though Governor DeWine, and oh man, if that guy ran for president today and we had to vote today, I'd vote for the guy. I think he has been magnificent, in Acton as well. I think because I'm living in Florida right now, let me tell you, watching what's happening in Ohio, I am just bowing to your leadership right now. They've done a great job. And even though, things are opening slowly at this point, we don't really know how fast all this is going to happen. And I think that for the most part, we're being asked to stay put as much as possible so that we don't see a spike. And I also think that there are a lot of people that even if that curtain opens and says, all right, go to restaurants, go to parks, there's a big part of the population who will choose not to because they don't want the potential of exposure. So I think that we're still going to have this time where we can work on our business more than we probably have in the past, because we've been so busy with real estate that we've worked in the business and it hasn't allowed us the time to systemize and organize. And so I think we can make that happen. When I get done with the ideas of things today that we could be doing to prepare, I will leave you with some thoughts on how to actually structure your time so that some of these things can get done, because actually I think it's almost harder right now to structure our days than it is or was earlier, because we have a different environment. Some of us worked at home anyway, don't have kids to homeschool, no big deal. But some of us, our entire environment has changed. We worked from the office and worked some of the times at home, but not all the time. We don't have a full office set up, or we have kids that are dragging at us to do this and that, not to mention the fact that we're home and seeing all of the projects that could be done there. And so all of a sudden that project takes precedent over preparing for the real estate market. And we're just doing what has to be done in real estate to keep the deals together and or get the virtual tours ready for buyers and this and that, and not really working on the business still. So I will help you at the end on structure. So let's, these opportunities we talked about, the upsizing, downsizing. Oh, and I didn't mention renters. How many renters might be out there who have decided that I can't do this again in 700 square feet? We need a house. So I think that tenant market is going to be really good to begin a campaign. If you have the apartment buildings or something in your market area that you could reach out to and begin doing home buyer seminars, things of that nature. And you could even do Zoom home buyer seminars, for goodness sakes, to get ready, because there are a lot of people who are pretty frustrated by being locked in to the small spaces. And I think another opportunity that's going to come our way, as I said, was the distressed properties. And I think also another opportunity is that people are getting so comfortable with online. Over 90% of the population shopped for houses online anyway. And that same 90% that shopped for houses probably also shop for realtors online. And who do they find? Who do they lock into? Who do they relate to the day they find a need for real estate? So I think with that, our opportunity to up our game on online presence and online reviews is a great opportunity, because people will be shopping for their agent online. So opportunity number one, work your sphere. And I have not spoken with one really good agent, not one really good agent, who has not shared with me that they are tuning in to their sphere. They are contacting their sphere. They are working with their sphere. And when I say working with, I'm talking, they're still physically distanced. And while we're social distancing, and in fact, if I didn't want to clean up for this webinar too much, I would have worn my hat that Amanda Pullman, I won it from her group of realtors winning with social distancing that says social distancing. It's really cool. But, you know, I think let's focus on the term physical distancing more than social distancing, because really what we're looking at is physical distancing so that we are not in that 6 foot space of sneezes and coughs or whatever. But social distancing, be careful with what you think that means, because social distancing might mean I'm not talking to anybody, and that is totally contrary to what we need to be doing. So I think my first thought is this. My first thought would be to literally get into your database and make sure that in your database you are organized, that you have cleaned it out, that people who don't belong in there are out of there, and people who do belong are in there, and you've got updated information in there, and know how to organize it. I won't go into depth here about like the trust circle or favorite 50, but organize who is your tribe, right? Who is your tribe, and how are you going to market to them differently than the mass of people in your database? So 2 things here. Number 1, make sure your database is up to date and organized, and 2, reach out to these people. And Eric came through again and said, I like to say, stay apart and stay in touch. That's great. Stay apart and stay in touch. So we are physically distancing, but please don't interpret the term social distancing as the fact that we don't need to keep in touch with people, because these people are thinking about moving, thinking about buying, thinking about selling, and we need to be top of the mind with them. And we need to know how to anticipate change with them. So I've got a little FM radio. If some of you are too young to even know what it is, some of you are looking at that picture and going, what is that? Others of us remember having to take a dial, not a digital dial, an analog dial, and dial in past the fuzz to a station, and then move the antenna so that the antenna is just right to pick up the channel that we want to hear. And I like that metaphor, because we want to be talking to the people in our sphere, especially our close tribe, and listening for change in their life or change in their family's life. You know, when we ask them a question and they come out with, well, you know, as soon as this is over and we feel safe, we've got to get mom to assisted living. This has just been too hard. She can't do it on her own, My antenna, they're going up, man. So we need to be in tune with what change is. And the only way we can do that is to talk to these people and not do all the talking. Don't worry about talking. Ask them about their life. Ask them how this quarantine is working for them. And listen carefully. Take notes, you guys, because listen, you're going to hear the people going, if I have to stay in here 1 more week, I think I'm going to just go crazy, because you know what? I don't even have a place to work. I have to work at the kitchen counter, and then the kids are making their peanut butter and jelly and and they're going to go off on how this is working. How's quarantine working for you guys? You know, hopefully everyone's safe. And, you know, let me back up to the beginning when I gave logistics. First thing I should have said is I pray that all of you on here are safe and that your families are safe. We do have a family member fighting COVID, day 25 right now. He's 93 and still fighting on day 25. So that's a blessing. We still have him. But I pray that all your families are safe. And that's where we need to be with these people, checking on them, seeing how they are. Is there something we can help them with? You know, do they need food delivered because their immune systems are down, whatever. But then once we've asked them how that is, then just use the system. I've probably talked to all of you before about it, and I call it the FOR system, F-O-R, F-O-R. I learned it as the Ford system, F-O-R-D, like the car. I've dropped the D for my purposes. F-O-R, ask them about their family, ask them about their occupation, and ask them about their recreation. What are they doing for fun? How are you staying in touch with, the older kids who have moved out of the house? How are you doing that? All of that stuff. Those are questions we don't need to talk to them, and we don't need to ask them if they want to buy or sell. We simply need to ask them how they're doing, if they have any needs that we could help them with, how the family is, how work is, and what are they doing for fun. You don't have to do it all in one call. Spread it out a little bit so that you could call them maybe once a month and check on them. And stay in touch. Very important. Keep those antennae up. Listen for change and document the change, because that is all future opportunity, every bit of it. So how's quarantine going? I don't know if you guys saw this on Facebook. It was hilarious. Someone said, we would always say to buyers, can you see yourself living in this home? That's a nice little trial close for buyers. Can you see yourself living in this home? Now it's, can you see yourself quarantined in this home? I loved that. I thought that was absolutely great. So let's move on into the next opportunity. While we are staying in touch with people, I wanted to give you this little, it seems like it's like a secret, like very few people know about this. So Facebook. People are on Facebook who were never on Facebook, and your people are more active on Facebook than they were because they're home, right? And hopefully we are active on Facebook, using it for good purpose and not getting down the rabbit hole that's taking hours out of our day where we could be organizing our database or talking to our trust circle or favorite 50 or VIPs, whatever you call these people. The secret is Facebook lists. Now, I don't know if you know about this. If not, it's really easy to do, really easy. And a Facebook list is different than a Facebook group. So you're probably familiar with groups, and you're probably in some. So the Facebook group is something you get invited to or you create. If you're in a group, and you can communicate with the other people in the group, and they can communicate with you, and everyone in the group can see all the posts. That's a group. A list is very different. I can go into my Facebook, and it's on just Google how to create a Facebook list, and you'll find it, because that's how I built mine. It was simple. On the left-hand side navigation, when you're in your home screen of Facebook, you probably have to click on the word more, and lists are there. And you can click on create a list. You can create a list in Facebook and put whomever from your friends, this is your personal profile, by the way, whoever your friends are, you can pick those friends and put them on a list, call it anything you want, my trust circle, my favorite 50, my whatever, my tribe, whatever you want to call it. You can call that list, and then go pick the people who go in it, and they don't know they're on the list. They will never see the list. They don't know the name of the list, nothing. You can call them my favorite people, and no one will ever know. This is simply a way for you to organize your friends. The beauty of it is this. For one thing, you could put a post out and only send it to that list. I don't typically use it that way. The way I use it is this. Let's say that I've got my trust circle from my tribe in there, from my sphere. And let's say that there's 50 families in that sphere. Now, all of a sudden, I've got those 50 families. If I was friends with them on Facebook, and when I go to pick the people on my list, I'll figure out who's not my Facebook friend and go find them and friend them if they're on it. So now, let's say that I get all 50, and I put them on the list called Trust Circle. RE Trust Circle, Real Estate Trust Circle. When I go into Facebook, normally, forgetting the list for a moment, if I go into Facebook today at 3 p.m. and one of my trust circle people posted at 8 a.m. this morning that, oh my God, I cannot live in this house anymore like this. I've got to have this or that. Or they posted, oh my gosh, we're actually going to have a graduation party. It's going to be virtual for my son, and here's how we're going to do it. They do this kind of stuff. If they did it at 8 in the morning, I go in at 3, I will never see that person's post because I got a couple thousand friends in there. I don't care if you only have 100, 150 friends. You won't see that post because it's long gone. It's been covered up by all of the other posts. But if I go over to my RE Trust Circle list and I click on it, I only see the posts that have been made from those 50 people. Now I can sift through that. And if I check that 3 times a week, I'm going to see every post that my trust circle made. And now that gives me information about them to not just comment on Facebook, but write them a handwritten note or call them and tell them I saw the post. And gosh, I'm so excited that you're actually figuring out how to do a graduation for Ronnie. This is great. Tell me more about the party. It gives you fodder for reasons to call and reasons to write handwritten notes. So do respond on Facebook, but more importantly, get a handwritten note out there, call these people, whatever. So I think it's been a fabulous, fabulous tool for me and my coaching clients who have done this. Eric, I've been dying to know how to be able to see certain posts. There you go. Worth the price of admission. Good, good. So now let's look at another opportunity, the expired real estate market. There haven't been a ton of them because the houses sell so quickly. But again, I think just based on what we're dealing with now, we're going to see more. And I have always subscribed to the fact that there are really only 3 sources of a quick listing inventory, 3 sources. And now we're down to 2. The 3 sources were open houses, for sale by owner, or like I like to call them unrepresented sellers, and expired listings. Open houses, unrepresented sellers, expired listings. The reason that I think that those 3 sources are the quickest way to a good listing inventory, saleable listing inventory, is because when we contact for sale by owners, unrepresented sellers, expireds, we know when we contact them that they have a desire to buy or sell real estate. When we meet someone in an open house, we know that they have a desire to buy and potentially sell real estate. So it's the only 3 sources I'm aware of where you know before you ever pick up the phone or visit that they are interested in buying and selling real estate. So I've always subscribed to having a program out there to meet the needs of the expired market and or for sale by owner market. And I've always subscribed to believing in open houses. Well, open houses are off the table right now. Virtual open houses are good, but physical open houses are not so much. So on the virtual open houses, we don't have quite the insight to who we're meeting, but that leaves us with the for sale by owner market and expired. And we could see a for sale by owner market pop back too, but I think it'll be more the expired. And I think that owners over the years, I don't have the statistics written down here or in my head verbatim, but over the last 8 years or so, the NAR statistics in the buyer seller profiles have told us that the percentage of for sale by owner versus broker sold homes has diminished over the years from like 13% down to like 9%. So over the years, they've realized they need us more anyway. And I think right now, because selling a home, when I said we're going to face changes, some of those changes are going to be that there's going to be a major expectation, I believe, for quite some time, that we have a great virtual profile of the property when we list it. I don't think there's ever been a better time to get really good at your virtual tours and or something like Matterport with virtual 3D floor plans, etc., because I really think the buyers are wanting to do most of their shopping online, and then if they think they're going to love it, they'll take the risk of going into a home. So I think that our skills on online Zoom meetings for listing presentations, Zoom meetings for negotiating agreements, the online virtual tours and stuff, I think we're going to have to really up our game for where we are headed here. I think there's a lot of good buried in that. And I believe that the sellers are going to realize that they probably don't have the tools to do the virtual marketing on their home, and they don't want people who aren't qualified or couldn't buy their home anyway to come and tramp through their home and touch their doorknobs. So I really think people are going to need us even more. And that's why I'm suggesting that you might start with the expired more than the for sale by owner right now. And having said that, since we're talking about listing opportunities, you know, when you're talking to your sphere, your antenna's up, listening for change in their lives. I think the other thing we're going to see that gives us opportunity is I think we're going to see a bit of a clean out in the real estate agent population. And Allie, I know how involved you are at the state and local and everything else. I'd love to have your input on this on chat. But, you know, we had this decline during the recession of the number of agents because business wasn't easy, and people who didn't want to work hard didn't make it. They got out of the business. So we saw the decline. Well, then all of a sudden multiple offers started happening again, and the inventory was low, and the buyers are coming out of the cupboards trying to buy the houses, and everything's working, and whoop, we see the numbers of agents come up again. And now I'm telling you, there is a certain agent population who may not want to jump through the technology hoops that are going to be necessary to carry on our business the way it's going to need carried on. I'd love to have your input in the chat on how anybody feels about that. I asked Allie in particular about how anybody feels about that. That I think we might have less competition. But if that happens, the competition we have are going to be the good agents. So we really need to get our game rolling on this. And Allie, you said you agree, you're seeing more Zoom consultations and Zoom showings. If you all have been in my classes or in my coaching or anything else, you know that I have been a proponent for so long now. I've been using Zoom for almost 5 years. I mean, I was one of the early people. I had a coaching program that went on Zoom, I think it was 3.5 or 4 years ago. So I started building that out before that. So I think it's been over 4 years that I've been using Zoom. And ever since that, and before that, by the way, was Skype. So I have been teaching for far over 5 years how absolutely, and I'm sorry, this is going to sound pretty judgmental, but I'm going to use the word anyway, how absolutely lazy this business, that our industry has become by doing nothing but email and text offers back and forth and letting the words do the negotiation for us instead of us doing the negotiation. And I have been preaching, get on Skype, get on FaceTime, get on Zoom, and get your body language out there. I mean, you know, the webinar platform here, you can see my passion for my points. You can see my eyes. You can see my smile. You can see my enthusiasm for the industry. That carries a lot of weight for you to be able to take in my points, right? Well, negotiation, listen, 55% of our message is given via our body language. 38%, this is by the study of neurolinguistic programming, 38% is our tonality of the way we say our words, And 7% is the words we use. So if we are defaulting to email and text to negotiate with people, we're losing 93% of our negotiating power with people. So talk about opportunity to talk to these people, to do listing appointments over like Zoom. Oh my gosh, you're picking up negotiation. So please, when we up our game to this technology, use it beyond what you've been using it to just learn, and use it to be face to face again, voice to voice with people, because we are influencers. Our job is to help people make decisions that are in their best interest, that without us there as the catalyst for that, they might not be able to do. Our job isn't to convince them of anything or manipulate them or tell them what to do or make decisions for them. But my gosh, we can be there. Allie, you did come back. Let's see. Allie came back on the agents, and Steve too. I agree, they won't work that hard, but it'll be tougher for them to get the business, right? Yeah, because you know what? This is one of the few industries in the world that I know of anyway that people can quit and never leave. So, I can't hear if you guys laugh, but I hope I got a laugh point out of that because it's true. The lack of sphere in past clients, Steve says, yeah, and Allie, those who do put time into learning new technology and brush up on the skills will be able to offer a huge benefit to clients moving forward. Yes, that's the point. So these expired listings, they are going to want a listing agent who is up to date with all of this stuff. And again, let's just pay attention one more quick moment to your virtual tours and stuff. You may have them, but you may not have poked your head in with the camera to the pantry, to the floored attic, to the different things that the buyers are going to want to see. And man, do we have an opportunity now virtually to pre-sell that buyer before they maybe do a one-time walkthrough cautiously and buy. I think that all of this is going to it's going to streamline the process more and make things more efficient if we jump on the bandwagon to learn it and learn it well, which is part of my point. Are we prepared to go into this new world of how we're going to be doing real estate? Are you set up at home? Do you have a program? So let's go back to these expireds. I want to share with you that the best in all my coaching, and I coach agents all over the United States and Canada, and the best program I have seen that pays off is a 13-touch mixed media program. So we're going to touch them 13 times. Well, that means that you need 13 scripts. Mixed media means you could have letters, make calls, send postcards, deliver information to them. Mixed media means they're getting their information and they're hearing from you in different ways. Emails is not on there, should be. Emails, if you have their number, text possibly. But mixed media means they're hearing from you in different channels, if you will. And it has been proven through research that if you wanted to touch them 13 times and it's 13 letters, they get tired of your letters. But if this week they get this thing, but the next week they hear from you in a very different media, a phone call or a postcard or an email, and then the next week they get something even different, and you rotate those. Literally, if you had letters, calls, postcards, hand-delivered stuff, and emails, that's 5 delivery systems, 5. And you only have 12 weeks. So you really only need like 2 to 3 things in each media to plan out to send to them. And the way the 13 touch works is that when the house comes on expired, and by the way, let me tell you what I believe works best for the expired, if you want to go into that, is you want the opportunity to come to you. You don't want to have to go look for it, because we're used to going and looking at the hot sheet in the morning. But what if it finds you? then all of a sudden, it's harder to walk away from opportunity when it is in your face. So go into the MLS, set yourself up as a prospect, just as you would one of your buyers. When you set yourself up for a prospect though, you want to go in and set yourself up as a prospect who's looking for the status of expired listings in the price point that you want listings and in the market area where you want listings. And then you will get an email when they hit the expired at midnight. So you wake up and you see opportunity in your mailbox, your email box. So I would set myself up that way to look for opportunity. And then, so that's step one, set yourself up for opportunity. Step two would be to simply organize the scripts and things that you might want to send, because once you get that system, I mean, literally one of my good friends, Desi Sowers from Virginia, I've had her on national panels for expired and for sale by owner because she's amazing. This woman will make six figures in nothing but expireds or for sale by owners. And it's interesting, she plays the market. If the expireds are going to be the best market, that's the program she focuses on. If for sale by owners are bigger, because depending on the economy, one or the other is usually stronger than the other. So she plays that. But here's the system she worked out. She figured out the 13 things she was going to do. It was simply a script, 13 different scripts. And then she decided, is that script going to be talked about on the phone, or is that script going to be something on a postcard, or is it going to be in a letter, or what is it? Like my initial script is, it's a letter. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I see that your home is no longer on the market. And I specialize in helping sellers whose homes should have sold but didn't. I would love to know why you think your home didn't sell, and I would love to know if you are still choosing to move on with your life. It's a very simple little message and very positive. I specialize in helping sellers whose homes should have sold but didn't. Let me tell you the 5 reasons your house didn't sell. So yeah, that's a letter. And so all you have to do is pick out the scripts. And by the way, they don't even have to be scripts. You could have a sold card or a listed card go out as, like, every 3rd week they get a just sold, or if it didn't just sell, it sold last year, take the just off and send a sold card. So those could be sprinkled in. So it's not that hard to pick up 13. The first week when you get the opportunity, hit them twice. Like the day you get the news, send them something. And then like 3 days later. And then it's once a week for the next 11 weeks, which means you've covered 3 months, 12 weeks. And that seems to be the sweet spot. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it within that time. Most agents will go out, touch them once, twice, be done. So I want you to heavily consider that this time in our world could be spent creating what you want to send. And by the way, let me give you a heads up here. If you go to recoachondemand.com, so just go to the web and put RE stands for real estate, recoachondemand.com, that's me. There are free resources, and there's a lot of free resources for sale by owner and or expired campaigns. I would only build one at a time, and right now I would probably build the expired. But there's free resources. What will happen when you go there is, if you're in Facebook Messenger, if you use Facebook Messenger, it will take you right into your Messenger, and I think it says get started or get my free resources. And when you click that, we're connected in Messenger, and you will have access to my free resource library. Some of you are already in there that I see here. So you can go there. If you're not in Messenger, that system won't work, but you're always welcome to email me at Coach Jackie, or just go to my website, coachjackie.com, and you'll see how to contact me and let me know that you want a free resource, and I can help you out there. All right. So the last thought I have is preparing our presentations. So now we have choices of how are we going to spend this time working on our business. Do we want to spend it organizing our database? And if you're not in a CRM, that would be another possibility. spending time calling your sphere, contacting these people and staying in touch is a no-brainer. That should be done no matter what else you're working on. That should be done. Do you want to build an expired campaign so that you are ready for those opportunities as they come? And here we've got, look at all the options that you have right here. I love this picture of this little guy. What is it about your listing, presentation, or package that wows the seller? What is it that wows them? I mean, I want the seller to look at your stuff and go, whoa, no other realtor has ever done that. So the question is, our business has changed. When we open up to opportunity for listings in particular, the buyers are going to be a no-brainer, I think, because the interest rates are so low. We're not going to see that demand stop. And there will be minor changes, I think, in that, just in the way we deal with everything. But how blessed are we that this happened at this time in our lifetime, where we have the technology to send everything through the waves to get signed. We can e-sign stuff and get it all taken care of. How blessed are we that we actually have the opportunity to do that during all of this? It's wild. So the buyer side will change a bit from a cautionary point. The seller side, I think, will change more because the way we market homes is going to change. And I think that we're going to be doing more of this online. So my question for you is, what is your iPod? So let me tell you what an iPod is. An iPod is an identifiable point of difference. When that seller connects with you about potentially selling their home, what point of difference do you have that they're going to go, what is it? And if you don't have it, then this is the time to build it. You could work on your pre-listing delivery, because I am a huge, huge proponent of pre-selling. Before you ever meet with that seller in advance, I'm telling you, 80-85% of their decision is probably what they know about you in advance. What do you have that you could send them, say to them, do that will hook them into saying, wow, I can't wait to meet with her, and keep them from listing with another agent before you get there? What is it? So maybe it's pre-listing that you want to work on. Maybe it's your actual presentation. Perhaps it's your delivery, the way you deliver it, the way you're organized in your paperwork when you do meet with them. We're getting more and more. I mean, I've never been huge on the technology, like iPad presentation like this, where you swipe through and talk to a seller, because I think that it can dumb us down. And I think that it can hold us hostage to what's on the screen, instead of being able to be flexible enough to, when the seller says to me, well, I'll tell you what we're concerned about. Our house is so unique that we don't believe that our buyer is going to come from around here. So how are you going to reach that market? Well, if I have a slideshow, do I have the flexibility in the slideshow to say, oh, then here's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about my global marketing program. And I can go right to that slide rather than going, hold on, I got it here somewhere. So I've never been huge, but I do believe that we need to get more and more into the technology side like this, of talking to the seller, where we're talking back and forth and they can see our screen. And we can do this. So maybe it's your presentation that needs some work. Maybe it's pointing out those parts of value where you really shine on your virtual marketing or whatever it is. Maybe it's scripts and dialogues. Maybe you need scripts and dialogue work. I know, you probably all know Amanda Pullman and her team, and man, oh man, they practice scripts and dialogues constantly. So I hate canned presentations, but I love planned presentations. And I know when people have heard me talk pricing and they're like, you're so lucky, those words just roll out of your tongue like a gumball machine that dropped out of your head. Bleh. And I'm like, no, there is no luck to that. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. How lucky are you going to be when these listing opportunities hit? Maybe it's systems. For example, and I haven't taken a look at our our list of people here, but I know that one of our people who was at least registered for here, who is in a coaching group of mine, shared the other day that she has 21 letters that are already pre-written in a file for when she's working with a seller, that at this time, at this stage of the process, she picks off that letter that's already written. She just customizes the first couple lines, sends it off. 21 of them. The system is built. Maybe that's a system that you want to work on. And the other thing I mentioned earlier, online reviews. This is a great time to reach out to people and ask them how they would feel about, you know, reviewing you online, your past clients, or reach out to somebody who's written you a beautiful thank you note for all the work you did for them, and ask them if they would mind putting those same words that they wrote in the note online for you. Because people, and this is going to get bigger, people are wanting to check online for the reviews. And there was, who had it? Oh, I can't remember. Maybe Tom Ferry, could be. I don't know. Somebody that I listen to all the time said that, gosh, was it 70%? And don't quote me on these numbers, but something like 70% of the population said that reviews that are over 90 days old seem irrelevant to them. They want current reviews. And I will tell you that my husband and I are like that when we're looking for a place to stay, because of course I've traveled for so long doing all of my coaching and training. Unbelievable, just unbelievable how we go in and look at reviews online. And I'll say to Rick, oh, here's a really great review on it. And he said, well, when was it posted? Because if it wasn't in the last, you know, in current history, like 3-4 months, he doesn't see it as relevant either. And so this study said that people feel the same way about us. So filling the pipeline of reviews on Google Reviews or Zillow Reviews, Realtor.com, whatever platform you're feeling is strongest. We had, in my group coaching, we had an hour Zoom meeting this past Monday. And in fact, it was an hour and 20 minutes, I think, where my group from the coaching were sharing ideas on how to reach out for these online reviews so we could take advantage of this time that we have right now to build those platforms up. And amazing, really good stuff. One of the great ideas that came out of, oh, I don't think it was Alabama. I can't remember who gave us the idea, but it was to put the request for online reviews on your email signature so that everybody who's ever worked with you sees, oh, if I click here, I can leave a review. So maybe that's what you need to work on. We've got tons of stuff we could work on. Now, how do we pick? So look, we've got all this stuff. I would say this, focus. Don't try to do it all. Because in many cases, you've got kids at home, you're homeschooling, you've got 3 meals a day to make plus snacks, you've got house projects, you're trying to work and close deals, and which is a little more, you know, it's a little different right now. You've got all this stuff going on. So don't try to do it all. Eat this elephant a bite at a time. Focus on something. I love the acronym of FOCUS, F-O-C-U-S, focus. And if somebody who's on here, the people, Steve, you've been active, Eric, Allie, if somebody, excuse me, sorry, I went backwards when I was trying to see the chat here. We had somebody else on there. Oh, Joe Run, hi. So if somebody would put this in there, focus, follow one course until successful. F-O-C-U-S. Follow one course until successful. Pick one thing. If you look at all the things that we've talked about today, connect with your people, ask and listen. Enhance or build an expired campaign. Create a pre-list strategy or enhance your pre-list strategy. Design an iPod, an identifiable point of difference for your presentation if you don't think you have something that other agents aren't doing. Practice scripts and dialogues. Work on online reviews. Organize your database. Pick one thing from today. and let's work on it. And now I told you that I would help you with structure, so here you go. In the structure, I want to suggest what I'm calling time boxing, not time blocking so much. But we have the opportunity right now while we're home to really organize our day into some type of a routine. Now, whether that's an hour by hour routine or whether that's I spend 1 hour a day doing this and 1 hour doing that, and you don't design which hour, different people work different ways. But I will tell you this. I'm guessing that everybody watching this webinar graduated from high school. Okay? If so, we graduated from high school by passing geometry, biology, physics, English lit, history, world history. Oh my God, all those things that we had to take, and we passed them. Do you know why I think we passed them? I heard this from one of my life coaches, and I thought, oh my gosh, she's right. When we went to high school, our outside world circumstances, the high school itself, the structure of the high school, forced us into time boxing. They said when the bell rings at 9 a.m., boom, you're in geography for 45 minutes, and you are to focus on geography and nothing else. And then the bell rang, and then you had some free time. Go to your locker, switch gears, go to the bathroom, get a drink, whatever you needed. And then the bell rang. 45 minutes, you focused on English lit. And then the bell rang. And then you had some free time. And then you went and focused on biology for 45 minutes. And then the bell rang. What if we were to design our lives like that? What if we were to take a leadership role in our family and teach the other people in our family how to do this? Because in some cases, a lot of people have used the quarantine and the pandemic as an excuse instead of a challenge. I am going to challenge you today to pick something to work on to prepare you for post-pandemic, to prepare you to be the best possible listing agent out there, so that when people talk to you, they go, wow, she's amazing. I want her to sell my house, or him to sell my house. And as far as this time boxing, it's not that difficult. If you assigned 45 minutes a day to work on one of those Post-it note ideas, 45 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you'd nail it. And when that gets nailed, pick off another Post-it note and do that one too. So my friends, I thank you. ACAR, Akron Cleveland Area Association, thank you. Sandy and Mike and Therese and Kelly and all those people who have been so amazing at the board. And Sandy, oh my gosh, we go back how long? If you're listening to this, we go back a long, long time. And I so appreciate all of you having the faith in me to try to help our members. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Stay safe. Stay happy. And Steve said, where can we find the recorded webinar? I will be getting the recorded webinar off to ACAR today. And then depends on when they get it out to you guys. I'm sure they will send you an email with a link. Typically, it's within a couple of days that you will have the link to listen again. And remember, you can go to coachjackie.com. You'll find my contact information and ask me any questions. And also, if you go to recoachondemand.com, there's a lot of free resources to help you with your ideas for expireds, etc. Okay? Blessings to everyone. And if you get a choice to control your thinking, think optimistically. We're going to have opportunities. Let's just get prepared. All right? Thanks to all of you who have said thanks. And from Val, thanks for helpful for the title reps too. Oh, good, Val. And we so appreciated your input and Tom's input and Amanda's input on the last webinar I did. So blessings to all of you. Stay safe and happy. Bye-bye.